Hey YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Shenzo Plays. Today we're hopping back into Minecraft. We're going to continue with our creative builds, build some stuff. We got some requests from chat during the last time we played, and we're going to try and build some of those today. So that's going to be the plan. Should be a really chill, easygoing stream. But if you do enjoy this video, I really hope you do, please consider leaving a like or a comment on it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We just passed 50 subscribers, so thank you again so very, very much. We are on the road to 100. I believe we're at 51 already, which, that would be the 51 difference, but I'm not Ray Narvaez Jr. Don't forget to ring that bell if you want to get notified when new videos drops. And of course, you can follow me on all my socials down below. Assuming Blue Sky doesn't shit the bed, that's another story we'll probably talk about in the video. But thank you, YouTube, for watching, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey, YouTube, welcome back. As you can see, we are here in Minecraft. We're just loading up the Twitch replay world. One of these days, I swear, I'll get a better name for it. Let's see. Do I want to keep my camera up here? I think I moved that camera last week. I think I'll move it back. I moved it for a different stream, and I always forget to switch it back. So let me just finagle this here. We'll center it vertically. Oh man, I almost had it. Okay, cool. And yeah, if this is an issue, please let me know, and I can always like move it onto the other side. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Yeah, I think this will look a little better. We'll try this and see what it is. Let me just center it vertically again. I was way off that time. But all right, cool. And then we'll lock it in place for now. I gotta figure out how to do like the auto move on that. I know there's a shortcut to do it. I just don't know what it is. All right, let's get back into it, shall we? So here we are. As you can see, we've created kind of a nice little village. We do have the duck, T-Fark's duck. We also created this lighthouse with a little bit of frustration, but you know, I still think this looks kind of nice. I think we did a good job here. And yeah, we put a list of different ideas. So we have a lighthouse keeper cottage that I wanted. We then have let me see. Where did I put the other signs? Oh yeah, here we go. We have a cat cafe for Stexin. I think I put some other stuff over here as well. And then we have a tanner. Hey, Tegwas, we were just looking at your request. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you, my friend. Do they have a full screen mode? I don't think they do, but let me check. Video. Yes, they do. I just never checked it before. Sorry about that. But here we go. All right, then I think, wasn't there one more for Sin? I don't remember where I put it exactly, but I'm sure we'll find it. But how are you doing, TechWiz? It's good to see you. Welcome on in. So I guess we'll start. Let's start by making the tanner. I guess we'll make a tanner near the church. So let's start by putting some fencing down. Hi Anna, how are you? Hope you're doing well. For those that don't know, it'll be Anna's birthday here pretty soon, if I remember correctly. I think she and Raz are birthday twins in the community. Her birthday's coming up at the time of this recording, which is going to be really exciting. Wednesday, and you took the day off. Hell yeah. Oops. Tired and alive. Well, you know, better to be alive than dead. At least that's the way I've been looking at it recently. Given the givens, shall we say. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put in some time off requests myself soon for my job, even though I really haven't done anything yet. But just for mental health purposes, since, you know, training is a lot. I was joking in the in my Teams group chat today that I survived. I survived 2 weeks of training, and honestly, it wasn't that bad, but it was a lot. It was a lot. But it's good to see you guys. I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for coming on in to hang out today. A lot of jobs to fill, and it's been rough going and making slow progress. So has it been slow progress because the lack of quality candidates, or has it been slow progress because of politics and requirements, or something else? And when I say politics, I mean office politics, not world politics. That's already been making life difficult enough for everybody, I would say. Alrighty. Candidates and occasionally hiring managers, also a little bit of politics. Amazon is our client, keeps changing things and causes uncertainty with current employees. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. We've talked a lot, I think, about what various various companies are doing, and Amazon in particular is pretty notorious because they have so much leverage. They're pretty notorious for basically just changing things up on a whim. I actually think their entire business strategy is based on, like, oh yeah, we'll just hire or fire anybody we want, to the point that they're gonna run out of, like, people to hire because of just how much they've exhausted the pool. I don't remember exactly where I read that, so maybe citation needed on my end, and I do apologize for that. But yeah, it is pretty wild whenever I hear stories of Amazon, and we have a couple community members that work for Amazon, and it's just like, yeah, they're constantly switching things up and constantly constantly changing things around, because again, they have so much money that they don't care. They can just waste a ton on hiring and all that other fun stuff. It's, not ideal, but who's honestly gonna tell Amazon no? You know what I mean? Like, not like, it's like I talked about, like, Microsoft. It's the same stuff with, like, it's the same thing with them in the U.S. government. It's like, who's gonna tell Microsoft no? Like, seriously, who's gonna tell them no? If the U.S. government is afraid to do it, who is going to do it? And the answer is, frankly, nobody. Nobody is going to tell Amazon no. Nobody is going to tell, Google or anyone else no. They're not going to. Is it right? Nope. But again, who's going to tell them otherwise? But I am really sorry to hear that, Anna. You're dealing with that crap. It's never fun. But yeah, it's always a good time when it's like, all right, these are the requirements, and then it's like, no, wait, that's not the requirements we actually want. Okay. But hopefully you'll be able to, fill those positions sooner rather than later. As someone who had to try and hire someone, 100% they have no idea what they need or want. Yeah, so the biggest issue there, I assume you had to hire someone in the tech field, right, TechWiz? So the biggest issue there, and I encountered it a lot when I was, looking for work, um, is that there's a feedback loop in HR, and that feedback loop goes something like, all right, let me look up what this role allegedly needs. And and what they do is they find other job postings that were written by people in HR for a job, and they're like, well, that's clearly the industry standard. Even if anyone in tech looks at it and just and can tell you immediately, that's not even remotely close to what that job needs. They will just post it anyway, and then they can't get interviews, or when they do get interviews it's because people lied on their resume, and they can't figure it out. And it's always so fascinating to me when that happens, because yeah, like I can tell you with 100% certainty that it's like, yeah, if you want, people, if you want qualified candidates, you need to actually you need to let the tech managers pick what, you need to let the tech managers actually send you what the real qualifications are. And then you have to leave it alone. But a lot of companies won't do that. They refuse. And it's really sad, because it's just like, man, managers keep wanting technicians who are already trained and ready to go and don't like to give a chance to people to train into the job. Yep, that's another big problem. What it really comes down to is that companies don't want to invest in their employees more than they have to. And so a lot of and I'm speaking very generally, right? But a lot of companies, what they're going to do is they are but yeah, what they're going to do is they're going to run into a situation where all of a sudden they don't have, they have deprecating skill sets. And what I mean by that is that a lot of these older systems, because people aren't being trained on them anymore, they don't have candidates. Now, Linux, which is what TechWiz is talking about, that's a little more understandable, because you can work on and be taught Linux. Linux is still an active system. But like, one of my favorite things, and I've had to talk about this with my current company, is they want people with C++ experience, and unless you've worked on a legacy system, you probably won't have many people who have C++ experience anymore, because C++ is no longer a standard. It's not being taught. New people coming in don't have it. And again, it's just a matter of time. C++ hasn't been the standard now. God, what TechWiz, when would you say that what would you say, when would you say that Java became the standard in tech for programming? Would you say it was in the mid 2000s? I want to say it was like 2005 or so. But yeah, C++ has been in decline for a long time. But I think that it was still considered the industry standard until like the 2000s. Just because there wasn't a better alternative for what C++ could do. Then Java kind of took the world by storm. And Microsoft obviously is C sharp. And C sharp has moved into a lot of the space that C used to occupy. C 11 came out in 2012. Yeah, yeah. Oof, C++. Oh my gosh, the some of the updates on it are fascinating. I'm programming in C++ now, and I don't hate it, but it is a huge step backwards from both Java and as much as I hate to say it, C sharp. I hate giving Microsoft credit for anything because I've often said about how shitty they are at software, and I still stand by that. But yeah. But I'll say this: they did not they did not fuck up that badly. You know what I mean? Like C sharp is actually a workable language now. As weird as it is to say. Um, yeah, yeah. It's like hieroglyphics. It's just it's awful. It's awful, and I am very much not looking forward to it to having to learn more. Alrighty. Let's see. So with the chicken, yeah, we definitely had the head coming out. Let's see. Inner boy. But yeah, there's definitely some where it's like there's just some areas where it's like, yeah, if you're not willing to train them, you're not going to be able to fill that. You're not going to be able to fill that role. Um, and you know, again, that's not trying to knock anybody, but it's just trying to be honest. Is that we are reaching a point where we are reaching a point where just certain technologies are not being taught anymore at the mainstream level. They're just not, and it's gonna be a matter of time before they are eliminated. From contention, so to speak. As far as like who's teaching them and how valuable they're gonna be. Um, Having some relevant experience is important, but specific to your maintenance job, you know background in any of it and ended up being one of the best techs in your building. It's frustrating now being a recruiter, seeing some people who could be trained well just passed over. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough too because like for those that don't know kind of what the issue is in a lot of cases is that a lot of companies at the end of the day they just don't they don't want to train people. They just don't. And you know, it's you can make an argument for and against, but at the end of the day, being trained is it's gonna be a necessary requirement, you know. And at the end of the day, um, like I said, just because certain technology is not going to be um, certain technology is just not going to be adapted anymore. Uh, you know, you're not going to get trained in college. You're not going to get trained in it on the job. So you know, companies are going to have a choice. You know, if I'm being honest, they're going to have a choice to make, and that choice is going to be okay. Do we you know that choice is going to be how do we how do we go about this? You know, do we continue and you know just try to draw from an increasingly smaller and smaller pool of candidates, or do we acknowledge that hey we're going to be running into more and more issues as time goes on? Hey T1, thank you so much for subscribing. Tier 1 for 47 months, much appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Time does fly. Yeah, almost 4 years. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Sun says, really good job on the tail. Hell yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. Alrighty. Tired of getting sick and Corvinus being a butt, and I wanted someone else to come do my work, and I need magic juice. I'm sorry to hear that, T1. I definitely hope you feel better soon. Alright, let's see. Alrighty. I think this is coming along alright. Okay. Let's see. Let's get some dark oak planks in there. And last touches here. Need to add his ears. Kind of looks like lipstick. It kind of does, yeah. Well, we can just we can just keep it like that then instead, huh? Tanner boy can be fabulous. True. Purple the other way, so it looks like his tongue is sticking out. Maybe try cherry blossom for the pink. Yeah, that could be an idea. Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking at his ears right now. Yeah, I think that'll look. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. Got his big old floppy ears. Alright, so let's see here. So that's gonna be... Yep, just 2 full bricks here. Okay, so like that and like that. And then we have... let's see, so it'll be eye, brick... Stair, stair... Underneath... Yeah, let's try the cherry and just see how it looks. Stair. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like the cherry more too. But there we go, guys. Here is Mr. Tanner. So I think I am going to make a change here, though. There we go. But yeah, there is Mr. Tanner. All right, let me just finish up his tail here. The boss is here, indeed. Yeah, that looks more like his tail. Let me check. I may just do some finalizing details. Okay. All right, let me just replace these here. Because he does have a white underbelly, so I figure I'll just add that as well. We're gonna make the boss. We gotta get it right, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, make it a little bit more round and then add like another layer here. Yeah, you know, that actually, yeah, I like that. So let's do that. And he also has a bit of a fluffy butt. He's got a floofy butt. So okay. We'll see how this looks. Worst case, it doesn't look good, and we just can't do it again, right? Yeah, that looks pretty good. So maybe, I don't know if I should add another layer down here. He's a bigger boy, that's for sure. Though he has lost quite a lot of weight, but I don't think I'm doing Tanner any disservice with this. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I think if I were to do one more thing, I would probably raise this up. The boy does hang low. He does. Does your tan hang low? Does he wobble to and fro? Nah. I think we'll just leave it. We'll cut out this one. I thought it looked okay, but it's like, eh. I don't like it as much as I did before. If we're gonna make a statue of somebody, we gotta make him look more flattering, right? Unless we hate him. Which, we don't hate Tanner. But yeah, here we go. I think the only thing I would honestly add is, I think, instead of doing this, I'd probably add another layer here. Drop the floor one level and make his legs a little longer. I could. But I've already gone too far. I've gone too far. Plus, I think this works. I think this works pretty well. He's been de-dumpified. Indeed. I mean, he still has a bit of a booty. Like, if you're petting Tanner, he has a curve. So he definitely has a curve. Let me tell you that much. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. The boy be bean shaped. Yeah, he is. He is a bean. But I think this turned out pretty well, all things considered. Probably could use some improvements around his tail, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? He is indeed ready to protect. He sleep, he snack, he always come back. That's Tanner boy. But I think this turned out pretty well. So there you go. There's Tanner boy, everybody. So Techways, I hope you like. But we have made a Tanner. And of course, he's right next to the church. Because why where else would he be, right? Alrighty. Yeah, I think this looks good. Property value just skyrocketed, damn straight. I mean, look at that. We have a church and Tanner right next to it, and on top of that, we have a duck, a lava chicken, I should say. Lava chicken. Hell yeah. All right, so now this is the side of our cat cafe. This should be very interesting. Let's put all this away because if we're going to make a cat cafe, it has to be out of stone. Rock and stone! Alright, but what type of stone? Probably a lighter color, right? Rockets? Shenanigans? You know it. But the question is, will you shenan again? So here will be the cat cafe for Stexon. I think we have to go with the pink and the white, right? Like, we have to. Oh, one off. Typical Friday night, just don't look at the calendar. Always. All right, let's see. Let's get a tile floor. So maybe a decorative stone. No. Return the slab. What's your offer? Every time, chat. Every time. Let's see. Ooh, sandstone could look nice. There's also a ton of copper flooring we could use. Let's see. I don't know. What are we feeling here? Let's see what this looks like in here. Probably gonna hate it, but well, I don't hate it. Actually looks kind of nice. The pink is a little much, though. Not really a big fan of the pink. So, you know what? Oh, I don't know. Let me think. I don't... You know what? We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll today. This is what we're gonna change. Yeah, I like that better. Hi, Sin. How are you? Shenanigangster? Hell yeah. It's a good word. Alright. Word of warning. If you shenan once, you will shenan again. Yes, Mr. Coco, what are you doing? I tell Yosh I was Darth Quaz, the Chewbacca Cabra. Seems legit. It doesn't look like that played for you guys. Sorry. Hi, Raz. Let me play that for you again. Give me 1 second. There we go. How much, Raz? How you doing, bud? Looking forward to playing some Peak with you on Wednesday. I told everybody I don't know what to expect there, but it should be fun. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Where's the trap door? Cherry one. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right, we have cats. Tanner heard the word cat and was like, "Oh boy." Man, they definitely have added a lot of different animals since I last checked. All right, let's get some wood here. And let's get some slabs. Return the slab. And let's see. All right, yep. Pet cafe. Not too bad, right? So what do you guys think? We have a cat cafe, and let's get a sign. Daytona. Texans Cat Cafe. Slab on a fence post to make a table. Oh, you know, that's actually a much better idea. Yeah. T2 cooking here. Hell yeah. Love that. Let's do a dark oak fence post and a and a pale oak slab. I like it. I like it. Look at that. Yeah, that looks way better. Hell yeah. Oh, one of the cats got out. Can't take credit for that one. It's Vanilla World Gen. Fair enough, but still, I didn't think of it, so I'm giving you credit, whether you want it or not. And I guess it's normal to have a cat loose in the in the area, right? So that's fine. Makes the village feel a little bit more homey, I suppose. And speaking of, hold a fish to kite it. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. We can just let the cat wander around. It's okay. I'm not gonna be mad at that. But yeah, this will kind of be the unofficial, unofficial border of the town, at least for now, anyway. But all right, there we go. But we got the cat cafe. I think that's a little unique. You know, they also kind of look like cat trees as well. when I when I'm looking at it like this, like when you look at this combination, it almost looks like a cat tree. Like if I were to stack it up, right? I really like that. That looks awesome. But all right, there we go. We've got the we have the cat cafe. Add a couple more over here since we've got the space. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I think we've done a pretty good job with this. So yeah, we'll just add some extra seats. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Alrighty. So we got ourselves a cat cafe for Stexon. Couple village homes. Nothing too crazy. A lighthouse. And we'll probably make the lighthouse keeper's spot. Oh, and I finished Warbreaker. How did you like it? Got the prison. And yeah, you know, I think we're doing pretty we're doing pretty good. 10 out of 10 book, loved it. Hell yeah. Love to hear that. It's always makes me happy when I hear that people enjoyed a book, particularly one that I also enjoyed. Sanderson seems to be very good at hiding gods and normal people. He does that a lot. Yeah, yeah. It is something that happens quite a bit with his works. I think that is absolutely fair to say. All right, that's why I had it that way. Okay, yeah, that's still fine. We don't need to go like super crazy. I do just want to make this consistent across. So. Ah. Of course, we can also talk about his what his definitions of a god is, but that's a whole other discussion, I think. Oh, oh boy, Tanner, it's okay. Bless you, kiddo. Okay, yeah, please do, Ras. Would love to see it. Can't have been like, what? Now I want more book. Yeah, yeah. So I'll just say this. I'm not gonna say any more. That will not be the final time Warbreaker is referenced. I'll just put it that way. I don't think there's an official sequel to Warbreaker yet. I know Sanderson has talked about wanting to write one. I just don't think he actually, has. But Warbreaker will be relevant in the future. Stormlight Archives are next. Okay, so yeah, Stormlight is how do I describe Stormlight? Stormlight is kind of like Sanderson's big project. He's going to have 10 books in that series, and he's only finished 5. So, yeah, it's like Stormlight is kind of his like yeah, they're very 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 big books. I'm very curious to hear what you think about them. But yeah, they are his what's the way I could how should I describe it? They are his I don't want to say they're his toughest work because I think he said in interviews that the storm he really likes writing Stormlight. I think the best way I can put it is a lot happens in Stormlight. A lot happens in the Stormlight archives. So it's definitely one of those things where, for anyone who isn't familiar, who isn't prepared, the best advice I can give you is just keep your eyes and ears open. Keep your eyes and ears open for all of the shenanigans that Sanderson will pull in those books. Because there's a lot that happens. And again, I don't want to like give too much away or, set unrealistic expectations. But yeah, the Stormlight Archive series is definitely the series that I think Sanderson has put a lot of time and effort into. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, Stormlight is an interesting one. I really am curious. I'll be really curious to hear what you think about it, Anna, when you get there. Taking a Sanderson break right now, but they're the next ones in the reading order. Yep. Nope. Totally get that. Totally get that. Again, my thing is I just hope you enjoy it. I love his works. I really do. I am a very big fan of Sanderson's work. But it's important to go at your own pace. It's important to read, and enjoy the books the way you want to read and enjoy them. More than anything else. Enjoyed everything you've read so far. I think Warbreaker is your new favorite. Hell yeah, love to hear that. Warbreaker is up there for me. I don't think it's my favorite. I don't think you'll read some of my favorite books for a while, but some of my favorite works from him are from his Kickstarter stuff. So, for those that don't know, Sanderson had like a record-breaking Kickstarter a while ago, and he released what he calls secret projects. And a lot of those secret projects are really, really freaking good. At least in my opinion. But yeah, once you get there, Anna, we'll talk more about those, I think. I think those are towards the end. It's Stormlight, then Era 2. Yeah. So I would recommend, I think, reading Stormlights like 1 through 3 and then doing Mistborn Era 2. That's what I would probably recommend. Um, but if you have like a particular reading list you're following, don't feel the need to, deviate from that in the slightest. Stick with what's been working for you. But yeah, that would probably be my personal recommendation. Is I definitely recommend reading Mistborn Era 2 before Stormlights 4 and 5, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, again, you got to do what works for you. I think it shows the first 4. You might be, yeah, like I can see that. I think I personally would read Mistborn Era 2 before book 4. Definitely before book 5 though. But yeah, like I said, that's just my opinion. Don't take it as gospel by any stretch. By any means, because I just think there's a couple things yeah, and like I said, Anna, like I said, it really and truly is, like there isn't really a wrong way to go about it, right? Uh, but for me, I just think that there is I don't want to say a change, but the way that Sanderson writes book 4 and 5 in Stormlight Archive, I don't want to say it's a departure from the Stormlight Archive. I don't think that's fair or accurate. But I just feel that there are some things that you will appreciate from Mistborn Era 2 before you go into 4. Not for plot or anything important, but just because I believe he finished up Mistborn Era 2 mostly before he wrote Stormlights 4 and 5. So you can tell his writing kind of evolves a little bit there. And I think it's very obvious in Stormlight 5. Not as obvious in Stormlight 4, but Stormlight 4 really lays the foundation for a lot of what he's going to do in 5. Of course, you can say that about all the books, but I'm just talking purely about his writing style. Also, Anna, I think you're gonna love some of the characters from Mistborn Era 2. Um, I really do. I think there's gonna be a couple that you will really like. With that being said, before you get to, I think it's Mistborn Era 2, Book 4, which I think is called The Lost Metal. Uh, I definitely recommend reading some of the stuff from his I can't think of what it's called, but it's he has a bunch of like novellas in Arcanum Unbounded. Thank you. You knew exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. Um they're listed on this list too. Okay, fantastic. Then yeah, stick with your list. If you've been going it, it's been treating you well so far, stick with it. I know Chad has his own list, and I would largely align mine with Chad. Maybe with a slight differentiator here and there, but for the most part, yeah, I do feel that if you have a list and it's working for you, stick with it. And like I said, think about how you feel if you're how you feel about Stormlight Archives 1 through 3, and if you're really liking them, then definitely go into Stormlight 4. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal if you read Mistborn Era 2 before Stormlight 4, but if I remember correctly the order I read them in, I think I did Stormlight 1 and 2, and then I did Mistborn Era 2, mostly because the fourth book hadn't come out yet. And then I did Stormlight 4 and 5. So that was how I did it. But if your list recommends reading Stormlight 4 before Mistborn Era 2, I say go for it. But yeah, some of Sanderson's better works are his short stories. There's one on there called Six of Dusk, I think is what it's called. That one's really good. Just something for you to look forward to. No spoilers, but I'm a pretty big fan of it. I don't think actually you don't need to read that one until you get to his more recent Isles of Emberdark. You can read it ahead of time, but you don't have to, because I think he included the novella in Isles of Emberdark. I think he included it there. But either way, I'm so excited for you, Anna. I'm so glad you've been enjoying it. I'm as you guys can tell, I'm a huge Sanderson fan. So I love his work a lot. Not to say that I think he's a perfect writer by any stretch, but he's definitely one of the more consistent and definitely one of the better writers I've read in my life. The other thing, and you know, this is not a shot at other fantasy writers, but Sanderson also meets a lot of his self-imposed deadlines. And usually when he doesn't meet a deadline, it's because he's churning out other books. So, whereas, like, I'm still mad at Chad about this, by the way, if anyone is wondering. But Chad got me hooked on a couple series that are not finished. And have been waiting for, like, the next entry for years. So I'm still a little salty at Chad because of that. Yeah, Tanner boy, what's up, kiddo? You doing okay? He's a very accepting author too. His work is becoming more popular with romanticy, and it's like, hey fans, don't be mean to them. Yeah, and like, have you ever talked to, like, listened to Sanderson? Because Sanderson makes like a lot of presentations and stuff like that in his you know, like, he's very active on social media. Like, he has a TikTok account that's pretty active, and you know, things like that. He's a very down-to-earth person. You know, like, he comes across as being very, very, like, level-headed and willing to learn and always be open-minded. One of the things, and, you know, sorry for anyone who hasn't read Mistborn, the original Mistborn trilogy, but the original Mistborn trilogy has also been out for, you know, years at this point. He's talked a lot about how, you know, the purpose of writing Vin, who is a female protagonist, was to write a strong female protagonist. You know, that, you know, basically to break kind of the fantasy trope of, like, oh, you know, only, you know, only men can ever do, you know, be the hero in a fantasy epic, right? Which, of course, is bullshit, and everyone knows it's bullshit. Well, anyone with half a brain. But one of the things that he's talked about with that is he says that he actually really regrets some of the decisions he made, because Mistborn was one of his earliest books. And one of the things he's talked about is that he said he wishes that he had more female characters play a prominent role than just Vin out of the main cast, because Vin is the only female out of the main cast. And he's talked about how he's like, that's one thing, if I could have done it differently, you know, I would have. And, you know, he gets a little better about that in later works, but that's something. He's a very self-aware author, and I do really like that about him. I am a fan of him. I haven't met him yet, but he is somebody on my list of like, hey, this would be kind of, it would be cool if I met him, you know? But yeah, I could rave about Sanderson for I could rave about Sanderson for literally hours and talk about all of the books and his writing style and his characterizations. Um, I will say this: I don't think this is a spoiler, but one of the things why I love Sanderson so much and why I'm kind of a ride or die with him is a character in Stormlight Archive. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I think Sanderson's my favorite character from Sanderson is in Stormlight Archive, and it's very personal to me. And I think that I don't want to give too much away because I don't know how like relevant this will be plot wise. Like I don't ever like to just give something away for someone who hasn't read him, right? But I'll just say this, that the character is one of the only characters I have ever seen in really any of my book experience that is written well with this trait. And I'll just leave it at that. And it's something that means a lot to me personally. And I'm really really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it, Anna, because Stormlight covers a lot of topics that are very near and dear to my heart. Um, Loving seeing Hoyt around. Oh yeah, so for those that don't know, Sanderson has a character named Hoyd, and he goes by a couple different names. But Hoyd is what he's known, and for those that don't know, it was Sanderson's first D&D character, who we named Topaz, and he kind of makes cameos in like just about every one of his books. There's a couple where he's his name is Hoyd, and then there's some that maybe he's not. Uh, and so it's kind of a fun game to see like what role Hoyd will play in each in each book, if he even plays one at all. Because some it's like he just makes a quick cameo where he's there for like a page, right? And then others he plays a much more significant role in the story. So it's always very fun to see what will happen. But yeah, for anyone who is interested in the Sanderson stuff, always keep an eye out for Hoyt. Um, and speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, I have not forgotten to reschedule our D&D session. I just need to find time to do it. Streaming on Saturdays has really thrown off my entire schedule, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. So I do apologize for that for anyone who's still waiting and wanting to continue our one shot. I am I'm doing my best. Speaking of Sanderson, I need to bug Chad and just ask him if he can just talk with me about Sanderson for like hours at a time. I gotta I gotta reach out. There's so much I've been wanting to talk about. But all right, here we go. Here's our lighthouse keeper's cottage. Yeah, Mr. Tanner? What are you doing, Goober? Gubernatorial. What are you doing, silly boy? Come here, mister. I'm right here. Tanner, what are you doing, kiddo? Come here, Mr. Goober. Come here. Come here, Tanner boy. I'm streaming, kiddo. You know the drill. Tanner, come here. Come here, Goober. What are you doing? Silly boy. My dog, I don't know what else to tell you guys, but my dog is a big silly dog and I love him so much, but he is being very needy right now and I don't know why. Tanner, come here, kiddo. It's okay. Come here. That's right. Come here. Boy. Good boy. Come here. Yes, I love you. I love you. Come here. Oh, don't eat me. Don't eat me. You shouldn't be eating my hand. Come here. Sorry guys, Tanner is doing some stuff. Come here. Yeah, it's okay, you big knucklehead. You go. See how hard is that, huh? How hard was that? Knucklehead. I love him so much, guys. He's such a good dog. He's such a good job. He's such a good dog. I'm so lucky. Like I am so lucky. All right, so we got a music box. Oh, there are shelves. Okay, that's good. Crafting table. We need a bed. Give him a magenta bed. Single lantern. Furnace here. Crafting table here. Bookshop there. Treasure chest and jute. The torches will put lanterns. But only up here. right, I think this looks pretty good, huh? All right, looks good. So let's add some shrubbery. Let's see. There's the moss block. There a bush. Maybe it is a moss block. Well, let's check it out. Worst case, it looks like garbage. Nope. This is it. Okay. Yeah, this looks kind of nice, huh? All right. So there we go. We got the Lightkeeper's house. Little Lightkeeper's cottage right next to the lighthouse. And with that, I think the only thing we have left to do is build the windmill. So we've created, I think, everything chat requested last week except for the windmill. And honestly, we probably want to create the windmill over here, if I had to guess. Make sure we don't get any spawns on top of Mr. Tanner Boy, huh? They upgrade all the torches we have lying around to on fence posts and stuff to lanterns, but just because it looks a little nicer, I would say. Like I said, that's just my 2 cents. We'll go build the windmill. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty good so far. Alrighty. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Oh, almost missed something. There we go. Lantern, lantern. And actually, let's put them here. And so it looks a little bit nicer, I would say. But yeah, I think this has turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this so far. We've done I think we've done a lot here, huh? All right. Think this looks good, huh? So how are you guys feeling about it? I feel pretty good. I think we've done. I think we've done some good work here so far. Hell yeah! Glad you like it, Anna. I think I am gonna add some shrubbery here. Just to give a little bit of decoration, you know what I mean? And remember when we had the duck and we tried to put actual lava underneath the chicken, and then the whole thing got set on fire, and I had to remake it. Good times. Good times. Keep those lit there. That lit there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, are you trapped, bud? Here, let me push it in. There we go. Oh, interesting. Can't put that there. Just do this, huh? Okay. I think this little village of ours is really coming together now. I think it looks pretty good. Oops. Every time. Okay. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good. So let's see if we can make a windmill. I know there was a way to do it with pistons to make it move. I don't remember how to do that. So that might be something we try to figure out next time, but we'll at least build the base. I don't think we're going to build the windmill over here. I kind of want to keep the windmill closer to where like the farms are, right? Because that just makes the most sense to me. Is like, hey, keep the windmill nearby the farm. So maybe we'll put the windmill like right here in this corner. I'm thinking we do something, like this. Then we put stairs and the windmill, like right here type thing. And windmill doesn't have to be, gigantic by any stretch, but there we go. Okay. Hey T Fark, how you doing, bud? It's good to see you. Welcome on in. Oh yeah, then if you guys see him, please make sure to wish Samson a very happy birthday today. It is Samson's birthday. So definitely want to wish Samson a very happy birthday today. So please make sure to go say hello if you do. Wish Samson a happy birthday for all of from all of us here. Hmm. I feel like we should do something with this area. I just don't know what. We'll figure out something. The burden of terraforming in Minecraft. True. All right. Let's do some jungle planks for the windmill. Ready. Okay. Do 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 do. All right. Let's take a look. Now that we have the jungle blocks there, what do we want to do for the roof? Let's see. We can do mangrove. Not as red as the two around it, but still pretty good. Mangrove planks. Alrighty. And let's also use this for the floor. Yeah, it's not going to be super big here. A dark oak door as well. Go. And let's see. Let's grab a spruce fence. Let's see. Furniture. We do have that shelving. Get a couple of these. All right. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. So next up, probably need some dark oak, some pale oak. All right, how are we gonna do this? Thinking we do something like this, yeah? Maybe white wool instead. Yeah, you're probably right, Chief Park. I think that would probably look better, but I think this design is pretty good, right? But yeah, just switch it out for wool instead. I think that's a good idea. All right, I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? To the windmill! To the wall! I like it. I like it a lot. Let me just grab some stairs here. Whoops! T-Fark gets it. T-Fark understands. But all right, yeah, I think this looks pretty freaking good. I must say, I'm pretty happy with it. Put a lantern on top there, and but there we go. Look at that. All right. So this is what we got, guys. We've got our this is our village so far, and we finished every one of the requests you guys had last week. So I think we're doing pretty well. But we got a cat cafe. We added Tanner, little tribute to Tanner there. We updated with all the lanterns. We added some walls, so now it's kind of defined borders, which is good. And yeah, we added a windmill and a cat cafe, lighthouse keeper's shack. I feel pretty good about this. Listening to classic rock with your dad Sunday, and they started playing Linkin Park, Green Day, and Nine Inch Nails. Oh no, T-Fark, we're old. Yeah, I think the first time something like that happened to me, it was probably like in like 2015 or something like that. And yeah, they had classic rock. It was a classic rock station, and they had like early like hybrid theory was on classic rock and from Linkin Park, and I was like, "Oh god, I'm officially old." It's like, yeah, not like this. No, right? I totally get it. A Tanner boy. Yeah. Tanner's been a big silly boy, everybody. He's been a big silly boy causing big silly problems. But yeah, it happens. But if you think about it, like, time is so funny, right? Hey Ranella, welcome on in. Time is so funny how it works because I used to think like the 1970s was a long time ago. As a kid, right? When you're growing up as a kid, you're thinking, "Oh yeah, the 1970s in the 90s was like forever ago, right?" And it's like, man, the 1970s are now, further away. The 90s are now further away from me now than the 70s were when I was thinking that. They're playing the Beatles and it just cuts to Linkin Park. That must have been one hell of a of an odd what's it called? Like a contrast, right? Beatles to Linkin Park. That is one heck of a contrast. Ben lurking. Well, I appreciate the lurk, Ranella. Thank you. But all right, I think, guys, I think we've come up with I think we've got a pretty good little village here. It's nothing too insane, but it definitely has some unique structures. Legit, Matt Damon getting old gif was what I felt like. Yep, that's fair. That's fair. I talked about this a bit a couple weeks ago, but I found out that I'm one of the older members of the team on my in my new job, which is really weird. I was always like the youngest every other job I had, and now it's like, oh crap, I am now in that age group where everywhere I go, I will probably be, if not in the middle of the pack, I will probably be at the at the older end of the spectrum, which is was a very sobering thought. I want to put the lamp right there. But that is how time does in fact work. And it says I feel old, but I am not. Well, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how you should feel. You know that's not my bag. But I definitely think that the current generation, you know, millennial, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha, I think in many ways have experienced things a global instability unlike anything we have seen since like the era of the world wars and the great depressions. You know, it's just a constant cycle of economic crisis, all of the conflicts that are happening in the world all over the place, which for anyone watching and who's being judgy, uh, I understand they were going on before, but thanks to the internet, we are now more hyper aware of them than ever, and more involved. Like, you know, what's happening with Israel and Palestine, for example, is being live streamed, which is different, shall we say? But yeah, it's a wild time to live in right now. And then of course with the rise of like you know, AI, which that's a whole other thing I'm not going to get into, but it's like then you're talking, you know, a ton of economic instability as well that's going to be coming forward as that technology gets adapted more and more, regardless of whether it works or not. Which, spoiler, it doesn't, at least not well. But yeah, it's a pretty crazy time, crazy time. But I think, guys, I think this is a good stopping point. I do feel we have done a lot here. We got a lot done. Like I said, we built every request we had, every one that I had written down anyway. Um, we added a cat cafe, which I think came out pretty well. Built a little tribute to my boy Tanner. Added a windmill. Fixed up the place. A light keepers. Added a light keepers cottage. I think we're good. Yeah, T Park says now do it in hardcore mode. And on that note, I think we'll save and quit here. But YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this time where we just hung out in Minecraft and chatted and built and designed stuff. We'll probably be back to Minecraft. I don't know when, but just so you know, up on the schedule, I've got a whole bunch of like special streams coming up. So I don't know when we're going to come back to Minecraft. We will at some point. I know that. I just don't know when. So I hope you enjoyed this Minecraft series where we built a whole bunch of stuff from free roam. We might do another challenge. We might do some other stuff with Minecraft in the future, but I really did enjoy Minecraft quite a bit. So thank you guys very much for watching YouTube. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye, everybody.